Hello Phoebe, thank you very much for joining us.
Hello Archie, glad to be here.
So I'll just start off by asking a very basic question. Why did you choose to run for Director of Wellbeing?
Why did I choose to run? I chose to run because I'm really passionate about student welfare. I am passionate about making sure that everyone feels very cared for, that they feel like they have access to the services that they need. And I'm really passionate about kind of changing the way that we think about well-being in St. Andrews, because a lot of the times when people talk about well-being or like student services, there's kind of like a different tone to the conversation that's like a little bit separate from life. And I just want to like integrate and bring well-being into more aspects of student life and also change the role of the SAB a bit, because I want to be a more like active member of the community. I guess a lot of the times when I think of a SAB role, I think of like a weekly email, and I want to be like out there, moving with people, like helping them get the resources that they need.
Okay. So how would you change the role of the sabbatical officer? Are there concrete proposals that you've got that make it different?
Well, most of it comes from outreach. Like, I want to make things more accessible, more easy to find, process through. I want to bring more communication, not just like within the union, because I think it'd be great to have a little more like close-knit collaboration within like different societies and things within the union, but also in like extracurriculars. I want to bring different kinds of groups of people together through the umbrella of well-being. So like, for instance, mermaids was my life, still is my life, but I recently also wrote my dissertation on things like the intersection between women, theater, and social change. And with that, I studied a lot about Me Too and that movement and Time's Up. So I think it would be really powerful to have like a collab between Sexpression and Mermaids, where we talk about things like intimacy direction and like bringing conversations about sexual health and well-being into a different sort of sphere of daily life.
Okay, that's interesting. And what experience do you have that you think qualifies you for that sort of thing when you're talking about improving the role of the SABs? Okay,
well, so as a candidate, I feel like I'm a little bit of I have a different kind of experience than most people. I also have a different voice than most people occasionally. But basically, I think that I'm uniquely qualified to bring about more communication and more community building, because my experience comes from personal rather than kind of administrative roles in well-being. Like, yes, I teach yoga every week, which is fabulous for developing like wellness in both the physical and mental body, as well as spiritual if you're a little freaky deaky, which is fun. But also, I think my thing is I'm using notes because my brain, she likes to wander. Yes. So my qualifications, I feel, stem from the personal challenges that I've faced. So I've had like quite a few obstacles to overcome over my life. Like, for example, learning. I have a learning difference, which makes my brain like to wander all over the place, which is fine, because the thing is about that, it gives me more motivation to help others get the same sources that I received in helping me with that. And it also gives me experience in advocacy skills because I know that arena from the inside out. I also have faced depression. I've faced anxiety. I know it's a little bit shocking because I'm a smiley human being, but I definitely understand both of those things. And I've been in therapy since I was 2 as well, because I feel like one of my biggest qualifications for wellness is advocating for A, great mental health, B, boundaries and protection for humans within the community, also animals, but like humans are priority A for now, because of a couple of things that happened in my life. So when I was younger, in middle school, there was a hate club just for me called the I Hate Fat Phoebe Club, right? Which is like not a great time at all. But because of that club and because of the struggles that I faced with being severely bullied, I now have a deep sense of empathy and compassion for people facing similar things. And I'm also super motivated to protect and promote groups that promote and emphasize diversity and also community building. So like, because I was different, I was super chunky as a child, because I was also like chronically ill as a child, I got negative reactions to that. But I feel like if we promote diversity and educate people on everyone's differences, then there won't be quite as much negative harassment. Also, another thing is that since I was little, I've pretty much been in and out of like court cases and things because I was gifted with a negative parental figure. And basically my biological father was really emotionally and verbally abusive and also harassing. So through bringing myself to court to advocate separation from that since I was about 12, up into about 4 months ago, I finally was able to get a restraining order that protects both me and my mother and my grandmother. I'm able to understand that it's like wellness and well-being are like super great and idealistic concepts, but there's a lot of work that goes into them. And I feel that if I can, fight through bullying and hate clubs and like protect and set boundaries for myself with like negative family things, and also deal with chronic health and well-being and transform that into like body positivity and compassion. And if I can work, with my learning difference and make it into something that is a positive effect for me rather than kind of dragging me down, then I can help empower people to do that, to find the resources to do that, and to also feel very cared for throughout every step of the journey. So it's not that I just want to take the role to be an administrator. I really want to use my life experiences so that I can help not only guide people to the right resources, but to be a safe space for people to come to. Because, everyone has experienced probably one of these things that I have. So if I can be there to listen to them and to empathize and to say, okay, well, we share something, and if I've made it through this, then you can 100% do that as well, then I think that's kind of my major qualification, is both the pragmatism and the compassionate idealism.
Yeah, okay, brilliant.
Long answer.
No, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. So do you think there's anything... bad's the wrong word. Do you think that the current Director of Wellbeing has done anything wrong or has done anything amazingly right that you'd like to keep? What are your thoughts on the person who's come before?
I think that Nick has done a really good job. I think, as my main kind of thing coming into this is I would like more connection, because I think before I decided to run, as like a woman of the people, you might say, who's not really done very much like political things. I didn't really know the role of a SAB. I didn't know necessarily what the distinctions of the roles were. I understand what well-being is, but I don't know what that means. So coming in, I want definitely more outreach and more transparency, and I want the SABs to be more connected to the student body, so that it's not just an email in your inbox saying, here are some things you can do, but it's like actively going out and building relationships with people.
Yeah. And do you think anything's been done particularly well this year?
Well, this year, I think there have been a lot of good activities. I think there's been a lot of good work, like promoting different student services, like especially student-driven services. Like, I know there's been a lot of good work with peer support, and I think that's fabulous. I think it's important to be building concrete relationships between people, because when you're having a well-being kind of crisis or a well-being struggle, I think you're more likely to come to someone that you know and feel that you can trust, rather than, someone with a pen and a clipboard. So I feel that those initiatives have started to kind of get the ball rolling, but I just want to take it off into the next step.
Okay. And, so an apathetic man such as myself, You're probably
apathetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure there are many people like me at the university. Is there a way? What would you condense your appeal down to in a few sentences? What would you say?
My appeal.
Yeah.
Okay. I think as a candidate, I really stand for connection. I stand for accessibility. I stand for really generating a community feeling that's bright, that's positive, but it's also very practical and understanding of the fact that well-being is a very nitty-gritty subject and it can be very dark. But at the same time, my kind of task and my joy is finding the light in the darkness. And that's kind of where I feel that I've thrived during my life and that I can help others find in their lives too. And I'm also a very normal candidate. I'm a little quirky, I'm a little strange, and I feel like that's good because we're all quirky and strange in our own way. And I feel that that would help people kind of embrace that side of themselves if they could have a more concrete relationship.
Well, brilliant, Phoebe, thank you very much.
Of course, thank you for having me. Lovely to meet you as well.